Hey y'all, welcome to Unit 3. We are talking about exploration in this unit. We are actually rolling right along through our curriculum. So by the time we're done with this unit, we're going to be a fifth of the way through what it is you need to know. So between now and June, we're going to cover the rest of it for your SOL, but we're rolling right along through our curriculum. This unit is going to consist of 5 days of videos that you'll need to watch and take your notes on. Something that you're going to notice that is different is that there are not going to be as many words on the screen. It has come to my attention. I've noticed that several of you are just fast forwarding through the video until you get to the next slide that pops up and just writing down the information. And you're missing a lot of stuff in the meantime by not actually listening to the lecture. So you need to make sure you're actually listening to the lecture. Remember that you can pause, you can rewind, you can go back and pause it or just get whatever information you may have missed, okay? Another thing that is also going to be different in this unit, we are not going to be watching videos in class anymore. There are several people that are taking advantage of this, and you're basically not doing your homework. So if the situation is such that you don't have a computer or you have no internet at home, or there's issues like that, if you're having technical issues, I need for you to come see me. And you can do this privately. You don't have to yell it out in front of class, but come see me and let me know so that we can make arrangements. We can get you a laptop. I can write you a pass to come see me during your It's Academic. You can come see me after school. I can write you a library pass. So please make sure you come see me if this is an issue. Okay, so with all of that being said, let's go ahead and jump right on into our unit here. So for thousands of years, we have the world as we have known it now in 1500. It has not really changed all that much. I mean, we have seen some changes, but the world basically only knows about 3 places at this point in time, and that's Africa, Europe, and Asia. Well, after 1500, we are going to see massive changes in the world. There's never been one culture that had managed to spread across the globe, but this is going to be the time when that happens, okay? So while there were many factors that drove nations to want to explore, there were 3 major ones: gold, God, and glory. So let's take a look at why each of these factors were important to the explorers. Okay, so God was important to those exploring and to those who were funding the explorers because there was a desire to spread Christianity. Missionaries would often try to convert indigenous peoples before the Muslims could get there and convert them to Islam. So you should remember indigenous is a native person. So Native Americans would be the people who are indigenous to the United States, to North America. God is another factor encouraging exploration. You'll hear me say this for what I feel like is a million times. Let me pop back in here because it is important that you know this. You've got to make sure you know that if you have money, you've got power. This is going to be a theme that you're going to see spread across all of our units between now and the end of the year. The people who have the money are going to be the people who have the power. So these countries who are going out and exploring, they want to have as much money as possible. 1, because they want to be able to fund these explorations, but 2, because they want to have power. So if you have the money, you've got the power, okay? Countries were wanting to expand and find new sources of gold as well, and spices and natural resources. So if you have those things, you're able to trade, you're able to make money off of it, and you're going to be more powerful. The 3rd G is glory. This is when we see a drive by countries to find the most land and resources. It's going to become a major competition between European states, and there's also going to be a rise in mercantilism. So mercantilism is defined as the belief that a government should do whatever it can to increase the amount of wealth a country has. So to do this, the mother country is going to mine silver and gold in their countries and in any colonial powers or possessions that they have as well. So anywhere that they own the land or that they have possession of the land, they are going to be mining for gold and for silver and trying to make as much money off of it as possible. So the whole point of doing this was to create a favorable balance of trade. So a favorable balance of trade, if you don't know, you need to make sure you have this written in your notes. It occurs when a country is receiving more money or wealth from other countries through export, so through items that they make and export and trade with other countries, then it pays to have other countries importing their goods into their country, okay? I'll say it again. So favorable balance of trade is when a country is receiving more money than what they're spending. Okay, that's the most basic way to put it. Okay. So we are going to see some innovations that come about at this point in time. With the desire to explore, we're going to have several innovations that come about. An innovation is defined as a new method, product, or idea. Innovation is actually one of your vocab terms for this unit, so make sure you have it down in your notes. You should have already done the interactive notebook activity with the vocab, but make sure you get this down in your notes as well. All right, so this guy right here, this is Prince Henry of Portugal. He is also known as Henry the Navigator. He's a super smart guy because here's what he does. When it comes to exploration, the Portuguese were hands down the leaders, no doubts about it, okay? So as early as 1415, their ships had already begun to make contact with the western coast of Africa. Well, what Prince Henry did was he ended up gathering up the absolute best geographers, the best navigators, the best sailors, to map out and plan these expeditions for Portugal. So since he has the best guys working on these routes, of course he's going to have the best innovations for the time as well. And some of these innovations are things like tools, like compasses, okay, or even the astrolabe, which we talked about last class, or when we did the sunken ship activity, you saw that as one of the artifacts on our ship. We're going to start to see new and improved designs in ships and in ship sails, which is going to make our ships more efficient, okay? And of course, we're also going to have better maps. So if you have a better map, you're going to, it's going to be easier for you to get to where you want to go and for what you're trying to do, okay? So that is basically, in a nutshell, that's our notes for today. Very brief. Next video is going to talk about some of the major explorers that you need to know, where they went, what their routes were. We're also going to talk about, you're going to look at whether or not they had a positive influence or a negative influence on the indigenous people of that area where they were exploring. So make sure you've got all of your notes. I will see you next class.